Hello everyone, welcome to episode 4 of Patatronic Plays, a gaming podcast. My name is Patrick Ryan, and this week we are talking Donkey Kong. Originally released for the arcade in North America on July 31st, 1981, but came to the NES on June 1st, 1986. So yeah, you got yourself a little 5-year gap there before you could play it at home. And we're just going to talk about this lovely ape man here, Donkey Kong. And this is also the first appearance of Jumpman, aka Mario. For whatever reason, they had him named Jumpman in this, which I guess it makes sense, because in this game, you just control Mario when you jump with him, or Jumpman, sorry. But, today we're going to be talking about that. But before we get into this, I have a Patreon. Yes. You could click in the link in the description. It will bring you to it. It's only $3 a month. And if I get $50 a month, I will be starting up another podcast talking about indie games on my channel here, or wherever the podcast will go in the future. So, yeah, if you have $3 to spare, it's a coffee. That's all it is. It's a coffee. So that's all it is a coffee. That's $3. It's in your couch. Go look at your couch right now. Go put it in the bank, and $3 send it my way. That's all you have to do. Or you don't have to do it. Just listening, liking, subscribing, following, and sharing. That's all. That's another good thing you could do. And maybe those people will do the Patreon, but no. Anyways, you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about Donkey Kong. That's what you clicked on. So I played this for the Nintendo Switch, the Switch Online. And one thing that I noticed, because I'm looking at the Wikipedia page here, is the original arcade game had 4 screen stages, but the NES only has 3. The only system that has all 4 stages is the Atari 2600. As far as I know, there could be another one that has all of them as well, but that's what it's saying on the Wikipedia page. And I don't know why they didn't add all 4 stages on the NES. Like, obviously it's doable, but I'm not sure why they did that. I've never played all 4 stages, to be honest with you. So this is kind of a broken review for Donkey Kong, because I don't know what that 4th stage is all about. Technically, it's the 2nd stage. I'll get into that here in a second. But we are going to be talking the story, because there's a story, yes. Following the events of the game Donkey Kong Circus, Jumpman unintentionally laughs at a local circus animal known as Donkey Kong Sr., who escapes and kidnaps Jumpman's girlfriend, Lady, for revenge, and runs to the top of a construction site. Jumpman must climb to the top to save Lady and defeat Donkey Kong. Now, I do believe Lady is Pauline. Yes, Pauline. So it's not Princess Peach. It's just Pauline. Some random other girlfriend that Mario had before Peach, before I guess he decided to say the hell with Donkey Kong and move to the Mushroom Kingdom. But that's Jumpman's girlfriend is Pauline. So he switched his name so Pauline wouldn't follow him anymore, and then he went with Peach. So I wonder if they're going to have like another game, or if there is another game where she finds him and just like, wait a second, you're a Jumpman, you're not Mario. Have you been lying to me this whole time? Something like that. But the gameplay is very simple. You just control Jumpman, going up ladders leading up to Pauline as she's on a platform, dodging barrels, fireballs, and springs, and apparently cement in like the second one. But that's that. So it's just simple. You just use Jumpman to climb up the ladders, and then after you get to the top, which is 100 meters, the game switches. Like it goes back to the beginning, I should say. Sorry. It's like a rinse and repeat type deal. I suppose to get like a high score or something like that. But the game is divided into 4 one-screen stages. Screen 1 is 25 m, I would assume 25 meters. But Jumpman must scale a 7-story construction site made of crooked grinders and ladders while jumping over or hammering barrels and oil barrels tossed by Donkey Kong. The hero must also avoid flaming balls, which generate when an oil barrel collides with an oil drum. Players routinely call this screen barrels. So yeah, Donkey Kong, he's just throwing obstacles in Jumpman's path. The first screen, he's obviously throwing barrels at you. They can either roll and go down the ladders somehow, or he could just throw them to go straight all the way down and potentially hit you. So after you beat him on the first screen, you go to screen 2, which is 50 meters. Jumpman must climb a 5-story structure of conveyor belts, each of which transports pans of cement. The fireballs also make another appearance. The screen is sometimes referred to as the factory, cement factory, or pie factory, due to the resemblance of the cement pans to pies. Now that is the one that I have not played. That is the one that they cut out for the NES and obviously for the Switch Online. But if you have an Atari 2600, you could definitely play it. Or I guess you could emulate it, but I highly recommend you do not emulate games unless there's no other way to buy it or no other way to play it. Or if companies or someone is selling it at a ridiculous price. Like this game, I'd probably pay $5 for. $5 I'd probably pay it for. But pay for it, yeah. Now, screen 3, which is 75 meters, Jumpman rides up and down elevators while avoiding fireballs and bouncing objects, presumably spring weights. The bouncing weights, the hero's greatest danger in the screen, emerge on the top level and drop near the rightmost elevator. The screen's common name is elevators. So it's just as simple. You have springs that are bouncing up at you, and you just gotta try not to get hit. And then there's a fireball in it that you have to dodge, and yeah, that's it. Screen 4, which is 100 meters, which is the last screen of the game, Jumpman must remove 8 rivets, which support Donkey Kong. The fireballs remain the primary obstacle. Removing the final rivet causes Donkey Kong to fall and the hero to be reunited with the lady, aka Pauline. This is the final screen of each level. Players refer to the screen as rivets. And that is the final episode. The final screen for Donkey Kong, and then the game just resets, and I guess you can get a higher score if you wish. So enemies in the game are Donkey Kong. Normal barrels can be thrown in any direction. Blue barrels can only be thrown directly down to the bottom of the stage. Trouble bugs, which are the fireballs. Oil drums and springs. So there you go. That's that. So yes, the items in this game are just a hammer, which you can use to be momentarily invincible for a couple of seconds, and you can bust the barrels that are coming towards you, or you can hit the fireballs, the trouble bugs. I don't know why they're called trouble bugs, but that's just what they named it back then. Now, what do I give the rating of the game? So the audio, they have pretty much a couple sound bites, and for back then, it was all right. So I'm going to give the audio 7. I'm going to give it a 7 for no particular reason, just because the game holds up. Like, you can still play it nowadays. Like, it's just a nice, easy, quick time passer, and you could try to beat your high score. So you have that. Graphics, it's obviously pixelated for the year it came out. So I'm trying to think back to a year before I was even born. So I would assume the graphics back then, they probably would have gave it, I don't know, an 8 out of 10. Now the story is just simple as every other like Mario, Jumpman, Donkey Kong story. You gotta go save the princess, so I'm gonna give that one a 5. Actually, no, I'm gonna give it a 7, because I didn't know that it's a sequel to Donkey Kong Circus. I might have to play that. I don't know if it's available for me to play anywhere. I might have to take a little gander at that one and see if I can play that. Donkey Kong Circus, it's called. So yeah, I might have to take a little gander at that one. So the story, I'll give a 7, just because what it said there, how it's like a continuation from the Circus game. Characters, obviously there's only a couple characters in the game. I'm going to give it a 9, I suppose. Controls. The controls are a little tight at some points of the game. So you're just jumping over the barrels and you're climbing the ladders. And the controls, they seem a little stiff at certain points. So I'm going to give it a 6. And the power-ups and items, you only have the hammer that you can get. And there are like umbrellas. I can't recall if there's any other items in the game that you can get for extra points. But the power-ups and items, you do have that hammer, which gives you invincibility momentarily. But other than that, that's the only item. So And you can't jump with it. That would have been awesome if you could jump with it. As far as I couldn't tell, you couldn't jump because I tried to do that. So I'm going to give it a 4. Camera, there's really no camera in this. It's just following up screens. And it's just all on one screen. So I'm just gonna give that a 10 because everything's right in front of you. Length of the game, well, only 3 screens I was able to play, but there's 4. So, and it's 100 meters. So what is 100 divided by 4? I'm going to see if I can actually do this. 100 divided by 4 is 25. So I can't really score it out of 25 for the length. I'll just give it 5. It could be better to be longer and maybe have more story, more screens to it. Because obviously it was released on the NES. I know it was originally on the arcade, but for the NES, they maybe could have updated it and put the 4th screen and maybe a couple more screens on there because they had the hardware. Like, look at Super Mario Brothers. They have 8 worlds, 4 levels each. Like, they could have added more screens for the NES, so they just ported it over and took out one screen. That's all they did. But the length, I'll give it 5 out of 10. And now the fun. How much fun did I have playing the original Donkey Kong? To be honest with you, it is quite fun. Like I said, you could keep playing this game over and over again, and you can never really get tired of it unless you have other stuff that you have to do, and then other than that. But I'm going to have to give the fun a 7. And I completely forgot, either I said it for the characters. I might have said it for the characters, actually, but I didn't write it down. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters, so I'll give that a 6. So there's 6 characters in the game, so that's all it gets from me. And with all those added up, I give the original Donkey Kong game out of 100. With all my scores added up, I didn't plan this because I was actually doing these as I was going. I didn't have the totals written down already. Donkey Kong gets 69 out of 100. Yeah, laugh it up. I know. But that's pretty much it. It's a fun game overall. I enjoy it very much so. But yeah, I would highly suggest you go play this. As far as I know, the only way you can get it nowadays is using the Nintendo Switch on the eShop, but I'm sure you can get it. Actually, I know you can get it for the Wii if you have that still on their shop that they have on there, if that's even still open. I don't even know. I haven't touched the Wii in like freaking 8-9 years. But I suppose you could also emulate it, which I highly recommend you don't, because there's always ways to get it. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed my review. So that wraps up episode 4 of the podcast this week. I hope I was able to do the game justice. If I missed anything, feel free to roast me in the comments below. Other than that, if you have $3, like I said in the beginning, to spare on that Patreon, it would mean the world to me. And hey, and you also get a shout out at the end of every podcast. Hey, what's wrong with that? If you want a shout out on you, then $3. It's a coffee. It's a coffee. It's a coffee. Yo, coffee. But that's okay. Like I said, you can either like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. And yeah, if you have any games you would like to hear me talk about, please feel free to let me know down in the comments. There's many games out there that I haven't played, and I really look forward to playing a whole bunch of different games for this podcast. I'm really having a fun time doing this. I didn't think how well it would be doing a podcast by myself. I am going to have guests on in the future, and whatever game that my community would like to see me play, whether one person suggests it or a couple people, I will pick whoever the first person is to tell me about that game, and I will bring them here on the podcast, and I will talk to them about it, what they like about it, and their take on it, and they can hear what I have to say about it. But thank you all so much for listening. I will see you all next week where I talk about Pac-Man. How am I going to talk about Pac-Man? Well, I'll just tell you this. Without that game, I wouldn't be here right now. So you have to wait until next week. Until then, keep on gaming, gamers. I will talk to you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.